very quickly go on to our third presenter, town planner Ishak Arifin from Malaysia, from ICOMOS Malaysia. He is a chartered town planner, a consultant. He is a trainer in conservation planning, and he has done a lot of work as well related to environmental management and impact assessments. Trained at Cardiff University in Wales, he is a registered town planner with the Malaysian Town Planning Board, as well as a registered heritage conservation with the Jabatan Warisan Negara, which is the National Heritage Commission, and a registered social impact assessment consultant in Malaysia. So his work is extremely diverse. He's been involved in a wide range of conservation and sustainability issues, looking not just at heritage, but also looking at the environment, looking at heritage management, and looking at sustainability. I'm going to turn you over to Ishak. He is going to be following up this, talking about the HIA experience in Malaysia. Ishak, can I turn over to you, please?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good afternoon. Can you hear me clearly? Right? Okay. Yeah. So what I'll be focusing on is the HIA implementation in Malaysia through my experience and the legislation that we have on HIA. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'll just look at first there are two main legislation, that guides heritage conservation as well. So the HIA will be falls under both the act. So I will explain how it works. First, I'll look at the National Heritage Act and then the challenges under National Heritage Act. Then I'll go to the Town and Country Planning Act, which is the other act that we have that also governs, HIA. Okay. So I'll be giving a comparison of the two and the issues that we have, and then in conclusion, what I would like to see happen, to improve things. Okay, next. Okay, first we look at the National Heritage Act. I'm sorry, we look at the key legislation first. The legislative framework that we have, as I said just now, we have the National Heritage Act, which is also known as Act 645. And department, agency that's responsible for its implementation is the National Heritage Department. It's a federal agency, And then next we have the Town and Country Planning Act, 1976, which is known as Act 172, which I might refer to in my talk instead of saying the whole name of the act. But Town and Country Planning Act also have come up with rules and regulations related to heritage conservation and specifically for HIA. And they have also come up with several guidelines as well. Okay, then we actually have at another level, at the state government level. After this, I will explain you the difference between the state and federal framework. Okay, we also have some states in Malaysia that have already have their own heritage enactment, call it. So the difference is a heritage enactment is passed by the state assembly, that means the state government. The federal act, the National Heritage Act, and the Town Country Planning Act is passed by the Malaysian Parliament, the federal Parliament. Okay. Next. Okay. Next, basically just to explain for those who are not familiar with Malaysia. So we have on the left the Peninsular Malaysia, and then on the right we have the are the two states in Malaysia from the North Borneo. Yeah, they're part of the Borneo Island and the northern part of Borneo Island, and Sarawak and Sabah. And in between these two states is you can find Brunei Darussalam. Okay. The way the law, the legal framework in this country works is any acts of parliament that was passed, then it will be defined whether it's a federal law, or we call it that it goes under federal list, or it goes under the state list, or it goes under concurrent list. What it means is the federal list are the laws that applies throughout the whole country in every state, directly, enforced by the federal government, which is everybody, it's the same law everywhere. Then the laws that are on the state list are laws that have been drafted federal level, but then will be applied to the state by the individual state with some modification of some adjustment to suit, the state, I think, legislation and all that. Yeah. Okay. Then we have the one on concurrent list, which is more of a, I think it's more like a guideline, a framework, for preparing a law to be implemented in the states. Some of the things that are on the the state list, the state list are things like mainly any matters related to land, water, and local authority, and also religion, basically the Islamic laws, because Malaysia has a majority of Muslim population. So those are on state list. Okay. I continue to explain. Yeah, well, I think you lost the screen. Okay. So, but so those on the state list, because those are exclusive matters that, where the state have the authority to decide, and then because land, call it a state matter. So federal government cannot interfere on those land matters which are under state jurisdiction. Yeah. Okay. So where the National Heritage Act falls, it falls within the concurrent list. Yeah, just like the Town and Country Planning Act is on the concurrent list, where the state will adopt the act and then formally adopt it, and then whether they implement it as it is, or they then prepare what called a state enactment, which will just either copy what's provided in the federal law, and then turn it into a state law. Okay, I hope you get this, because there are things that the state government can do independently, or they have, I think, that more jurisdiction over certain matters. So this is already a bit complicated. Then if we go deeper into it, we'll find that, because not all the states in Malaysia actually adopted what's in the National Heritage Act. Yeah. And then, but the Town and Country Planning Act, has been adopted fully by every state, in Peninsula, the states on the right. But Town and Country Planning Act does not apply to Sabah and Sarawak. Okay. And also, Sabah and Sarawak also enjoy some autonomy to actually have their own laws on many matters. This is because the agreement that was out when Malaysia was created 60 years ago. Okay, so I hope you are also as confused as me, but don't worry. We go to the National Heritage Act. Okay. the National Heritage Act was introduced in 2005, which is almost 20 years ago, and has never been amended, right? Right, Lex?
It's in the process of being
Yeah,
amended.
it's in the process. I think they're reviewing the act to be amended, but for 20 years, it was as it was when it was first introduced. But the objective of the act is to provide for the conservation and preservation of national heritage, natural heritage, tangible, intangible, and actually cultural heritage, other cultural heritage like underwater heritage and treasure trove, heritage objects, and also living heritage, so it covers a lot of things, yeah. Okay, and some of the key provisions in there, it provide definition for cultural and natural heritage, tangible, intangible heritage, yeah. And it provides for the designation of heritage sites, and also a declaration of national heritage. So that's the key things that I think a lot of people in Malaysia also have got confused, is because national heritage is not gazetted as a national heritage. It has to be gazetted as a heritage site and put on the National Heritage Register under the Heritage Act. And then the minister can then, on advice of the Heritage Commissioner, declare any of the heritage sites as national heritage. So that's how it works. Okay. Okay. But most of the sites that has been gazetted, are considered as of national interest. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The National Heritage Act also has some sites which are in the process of being gazetted, which they call it the sites on the inventory list. So these are also considered as to be governed by the National Heritage Act. Okay. Then the Act also provides for very detailed on the conservation management plan, how it was to be prepared, and to be implemented. And then it also provides some provision on control of development, which affect heritage sites. But unfortunately, it does not say anything specifically on heritage impact assessment. So you cannot find, anything specific about heritage impact assessment in the National Heritage Act, which we hope, in the review and amendment, now this will be corrected. Okay. So there is also for development control, there's a specific section in there, which I put there, section 40. And it also has a provision where the Heritage Commissioner must inform the local planning authority, whenever a site has been gazetted under the National Heritage Act. Okay. So the Act also defines the role of the Heritage Commissioner, which is to take care of all the sites that are gazetted or listed in the inventory under National Heritage Act. Okay. So as I said, the heritage HIA process is not clear, but the National Heritage Department have prepared the guidelines for HIA, but the existing guidelines for HIA only relates to development or proposed changes to be made to heritage property, which is mostly buildings, and monument. So it doesn't cover natural heritage and other forms of heritage at the moment. Okay. There is some ambiguity in terms of World Heritage Sites being governed by the National Heritage Department and how it is protected under National Heritage Act. because our World Heritage Sites, in Peninsula, especially the two most well-known, Penang, Georgetown, historic city of the Straits of Malacca. The heritage site itself, the World Heritage Site itself, is not gazetted. Yeah, but any development, within or close to the World Heritage Site has been subjected to heritage impact assessment by the National Heritage Department. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So the challenges that we've come across under the National Heritage Act. So the first one is the application of Act 645, that's the National Heritage Act, which is currently not being uniformly applied, or being used by all the states. Currently, it's very much being referred to in the states that have either World Heritage Sites, or the states that have gazetted a lot of sites under the National Heritage Act. But and the focus has been very much in Penang, and Selangor, and in Malacca, and then so in other states, it's not very much well, not mentioned, and I've not experienced any HIA being required in other states under the National Heritage Act. Okay. The other thing is the interpretation, of the Act, because the National Heritage Department only applies HIA to sites that are gazetted under the National Heritage Act. And so the sites that are not gazetted or not yet gazetted, may not be subject to HIA. Yeah. So when I say sites, it means the heritage sites or the buffer zone, yeah, and any areas adjacent to the buffer zone. So these are the areas where any development proposals, being put up, they may require an HIA. Okay. The other things is heritage itself is not defined in the National Heritage Act, as under Section 24, when it says a site may be nominated, to be gazetted as a heritage site. That's the category that is mentioned in the Act. So heritage sites, it's not clearly defined. But when you get to the National Heritage, under Section 67 of the Act, when you want to nominate sites that can be nominated for national heritage, the criteria is set that there are 9 criteria listed in the Act. So and that one is clear on how what sites is considered a National Heritage Act, but what sites will qualify to be gazetted as heritage sites, is subject to interpretation. Okay. Then the other things that I believe that has not been done is notification to the local planning authority, because the National Heritage Act requires the Heritage Commissioner to inform the local planning authority whenever the site is gazetted, and the process of doing that is still unclear, because it's supposed to be, I think, maybe notification to be done in a prescribed form. There should be a formal process where this is to be done. And then there's another requirement that for the Heritage Commissioner to prepare a conservation management plan, for the sites that he has gazetted, and then give the plan to the local planning authority to implement. So this also, has not happened, and it's not clear how is being implemented, because there are local authorities that, or the state authorities that have prepared the CMP, but and there are CMP that the Heritage Department has prepared, but it does not cover all the sites that have been gazetted. Okay, the next things that we have issues with the institutional framework, because Heritage Department may be it works fine for managing some of the heritage, intangible heritage under the Ministry of Tourism. But when it comes to development control, we have a lot of problem, because it seems that the people in the National Heritage Department are not, I think, very well informed on the process of development control. So we have that. So we need to improve on their knowledge on the development process itself. Then the institutional capacity, the department is still a small department trying to handle the whole country. So currently it's only based in Kuala Lumpur, and it has regional office in 3 areas within the country. Okay, so we also have problems coordinations, and also still insufficient guidance on process, on procedure, especially for HIA. Yeah. So, okay. Then, well, the other thing is also the department also received did not have a very big budget to work on. So, and so it goes back in circle. They couldn't have enough staff capacity to actually carry out their job, or even to carry out trainings to improve and get the more experienced people to work within the department. Okay. Let's go to the Town and Country Planning Act. Okay, sorry. Next. Okay, sorry for the title of the slide. Yeah, it's supposed to be the Town Country Planning Act. Okay, objective of the Town Country Planning Act was introduced in 1976. When it's to provide a uniform, control regulation of land use planning and development in Malaysia. So the provision in the act is also, it covers heritage conservation, within one in the development plan process, and then also in development control. So the designation of heritage sites, has been done in the development plan, mainly local plans, because the local plans prepared under the Town Country Planning Act are gazetted. So all the areas under or areas listed in the local plans then become protected under the law. Okay. Then there is also the provision, the need for planning permission to be applied for development. And there's another section, I think 21A, which was introduced about 5 years ago, which was introduced for the social impact analysis, but that provision also covers, it says, analysis of and mitigation measures for, not just social impact and other impacts as determined by local planning authority. So that clause gave powers to the local authority to impose HIA. And we have also have the HIA process, documented, I think, under the Town Country Planning Act. Next. So the challenges that we face, okay. Same issue, I think similar issues to the National Heritage Act, because application of the HIA, I think, in different states, is not uniform. So, so sometimes we have different states that have imposed HIA, but go to other states that did not done that, and then despite we have the town planning rules that have been introduced, not all the states have adopted it, to manage heritage area. So then some states have their own, guidelines which applies to the state. So it's not the same as another state, So then the definition of heritage, might slightly differ between the states. Okay, institutional framework. The department of the town planning department and also the local authorities, I think it's slightly better off in the sense they may have slightly more people, within the organization to handle this, but we still need to improve, on the guidelines, the process and the procedures, and still a lot of people still are not sure and which way we are going, when it comes to heritage impact assessment reports, to be assessed and all that. So it also needs coordination with the National Heritage Department, because reports that goes to the National Heritage Department are reviewed internally by the National Heritage Department. But normally when it goes to the local authority, it will involve all the other stakeholders or the key agencies in the assessment. Okay, so resources. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end. So we still also have some we need improvement at the limited expertise that is currently available to deal with HIA, either at the authority level and also at the project proponent level, because we need more people to be trained and to understand on the process and not just at HIA itself, but on heritage conservation in general. And we need also to improve on the awareness and the funding, on all that. So I think I'll stop here. Yeah, so we can have more discussion later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishak. I think I'm just going to move quickly along because we don't have that much time left. And I'm going to introduce Supicha. She is talking about the HIA in Thailand. So we've heard Indonesia, Malaysia, and now we're looking at Thailand. Supicha is a full-time researcher at the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Center for Archaeology and Fine Arts, which is, I think most of us will know it as CMIOS PAFA. She graduated from the World Heritage Studies Master's Program at Brandenburg University in Germany, and she was involved in heritage-related projects at the national and international levels. I think we will just, she currently is with the King Mongkut Institute of Technology, and her work aims to support a sustainable society by providing the academic service in researching natural and cultural heritage and furthering sustainable urban development. I will turn you over to Supicha.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Let me share the screen. So feel a little bit of pressure because compared to another country, our HIA is a little bit different over here. And I can see from the participant that even my professor is still watching. So let's see how it's going. So today, I am talking about the heritage impact assessment issue and challenge in Asia Pacific region, especially the experience of the HIA for the historic city of Ayutthaya when we have the new high-speed rail development coming in. Oh, so yeah, I will try to cover as much as I can do with this short amount of time. The overview, a little bit of information on the Ayutthaya itself as a World Heritage and the development project of the rail and the trains, high-speed train, HIA issues and challenge, and also maybe let's see what we can do next. For the World Heritage site, obviously, as Eugene already mentioned in her wonderful presentation, that this is like something that is mandatory when some change occur on the site, right? But for Thailand, in the scale, HIA is really new in the sense that the Ayutthaya one that I'm talking about today is the first HIA in the whole country, in the World Heritage level, obviously. And let's see how it goes by normal process. For the existing tool, after hearing a lot of legislation from different presentation, I was like, oh, we have one. From Thailand, we have the Ancient Monument and Integrity National Museum Act, where this tool was used by the Fine Art Department as a national authority for culture. So when new development project kicked in, they have to declare the design, the projects to the national authority, so Fine Art Department, so that they can summon the committee to review based on the type of the project or the type of the impact that could happen. And after that, they would comment, they would request for adjustment in case it have something to do with the value of that site. And if it's fine, then they approve and the new development can be happening. Or if it's not approved, so it will come into the cycle between request for adjustment and approve, request for adjustment again and again. So that is for the national level, the cultural heritage site or monument, which is in national inventory or in the waiting list, or some of them also. But for the normal cultural site, we have to admit that that is on voluntary basis, which is in a really rare case that it would be happening while the project is going on and all the pressure for development, as you already know. For disclaimer, I have to have disclaimer because the project of Ayutthaya is not finished yet, meaning like the heritage impact assessment information right now is not fully presentable due to the copyright. So I have to narrate all of this story to you all with the aim to, like for academic purpose and for sharing experience and for maybe construct some fruitful discussion afterward. And I didn't own any copyright to the image or figure in this presentation. So for the case study of Ayutthaya, so this historic city is found in 1350 and is the second capital of Siam Kingdom, as they believe, and it's flourished from 14th century to 18th, and during the time it's grown to the one of the world's largest and most cosmopolitan urban area at the time, and hold a lot of global diplomacy, commerce, etc. Ayutthaya also was a strategic located in strategically area located in the island, surrounded by 3 rivers, connecting the city to the sea, as you can see here. You connect it to the sea. And is also the site that chosen to be World Heritage also because of its situation, of its location above the tidal border of the Gulf of Siam or Thailand, as it existed at the time, and preventing the attack from the city and also the sea-going warship or some other attack or some natural disaster, even that, such as flood, for example. So you can see that this is already some natural embedded values for this historical town. And Ayutthaya also hold the importance as a well-known contemporary sources in maps because it was visited by a lot of foreign community, Western community during the time that is in its golden year. So many picture maps was recorded, and as you can see right now. The site was finally inscribed as a World Heritage of Thailand in 1991. And it was inscribed under the criteria 3. So it's a testimony of the tradition, civilization of the people of Ayutthaya in this case. And from there, you will see here, this is the map of the World Heritage property. You can already see that only the red line is indicating the World Heritage property of approximately 289 hectares. And we don't have buffer zone. For this site, not officially, we don't have buffer zone as we proposed to the World Heritage Committee. It's still there in the World Heritage Center website if you want to check. And with that, when the train came, when the project proposal of the train, I have to admit that I cannot like reveal more information, but it's proposed long ago, and then with the reason that, hey, the station is outside of your World Heritage boundary, why do you care about that? And will HIA need it? Which is, yes, we need that. And after the World Heritage Center discovered that the construction of this high-speed rail station is coming in, so they build it on the up north and on the southern area, and then have the gap of Ayutthaya in between. And that's where the letter came in to the government and then say that, maybe we have to make this HIA happening. And that's where all the wrong story start. So happening first with the TOR. The TOR was drafted by a different group of people that carry it on and make it a final TOR. Some content was shifted a little bit, and the TOR was finally final with the time frame of 6 months. And that's already a problem. And is in the content of this TOR also contains some impossible mission. For example, UNESCO expert, which they mention only this term, and then it's really vague. And the HIA team was so frustrated at the time, like how can they find this? It's not even advisory body, but UNESCO expert. And one of the fun thing, or maybe interesting thing, is the project owner, project developer, and the HIA commissioner is the same person, well, in the same body, I would say. So that is already another pressure to the HIA team. So the TOR came, just to summarize this so that you can follow me. The TOR came with the really impossible time frame, and also with the different content from the drafting team, and also come with some not relatable context of it. So HIA team, which consists of archaeologists, art historian, anthropologists, and architecture, even landscape architect, and more supporting team were formed, because the commissioner is the Faculty of Archaeology. And even this is like a dream team already, because they have a lot of things that is really maybe relating already to the site, as it an archaeology site, as it like a lot of history of the whole kingdom before it's become Thailand. But there is some of the important things that it might really need, for example, the hydrology, the water in ground, and also World Heritage expert who really need to be in this team. But yeah, so the team was formed with the baseline data, which really I have to put question mark after that, because normally when you want to know about what happened, right? The team's supposed to be equipped with the most like ready of the information as it can be, but it seems that the information that was provided is come little by little, and is not covering everything that the HIA team supposed to know. So you can see already pin it in the green here. This is like area of the Ayutthaya station. It's like a mega project thing that connecting from China to Laos to Thailand and downwards. And yeah, this is the location of the station that they say that it's already 1.5 kilometers away of your property boundary. What are you worrying about? Ooh, I'm worrying about that. And again, with the little by little information that came, the information also not accurate. Sometimes at first it review with some design, and later on it have a newer design, and with that it's come also with the section, the architectural drawing, but is it also from different station? So it's like from this picture you already see that it's a lot of station coming in, right? And from here, for this specific station that we really need to do HIA, we were given some time, the team was given some time with the information from other relevant site, but it's supposed to be from this specific one, for example. And the accuracy and clarity of the information is not there, as I narrated. The design, the old, the new, the height, 21 meter high or 19, compensation or what? Construction process, how would you do that? How would you carry in this and that? Is it prefab? Is it construction on site? Will it be some kind of trash throwing somewhere? What is the period? What is the transit-oriented development that they're gonna propose? Where is the real coming in and where is this going? Which the version of the EIA that come together is have different ones. So which one it is for this specific design? So a lot of questions were raised at the time. So the HIA core team faced the issue of given unclear and limited data for the high-speed train project. So it's really gonna affect, obviously, it's challenging for the foreseen of the impact. What kind of impact that's gonna happen from what design, from which different information that were given, the team was already at the time really confused. And here we come already the train. And the next one going to be value and attributes, right? So we have to extract it from the SOUV from Ayutthaya, and we try to get it all from the SOUV and with value and attribute. So I will summary it for you because it's really long text. So in values, we have geography value for the location of this very kingdom, the location on the Iceland with the three river, the urban planning, and the surrounding in this area. The archaeological site, obviously, with the ancient and ruins and all the temples, or the city pillar, shrine, and everything. Many sites that is still scattered down around the city. Even in the radius that is further from the property area. And outstanding urban planning of Ayutthaya, it reflects by the city plan, obviously, the transportation of the canal, the waterway, which is traditional one, and the location of the other city element, for example, like the wall, the gate, the fortification, and also the defense system. The value of being the global diplomatic economy commerce center, and the meeting area where two values of people from different sides of the world commemorate and emerge. So we have foreigner component, the community, and also some area again that people used to take action and used to have some activity on there. And the art of Ayutthaya style that reflect in different monuments. So with that, we have the set of like attribute. Actually, this is like 5 pages long, but again, I cannot really put it here due to the copyright. But you can already see that beyond the ruin, beyond the archaeological site, there is a landscape, there is the water transportation route, there is like a hydrology system that is really advancement of its time, and the management system of the water, the group of villages, the Buddhist site and practice it. And we're not even talking about ICH even yet, right? So a lot of things have been interpreted from the OUV of the site, the information and the text. And the value and attribute is already, as I said before, is go beyond the boundary. And this is the map that the Fine Art Department used to conduct that when they try to like after the site become a World Heritage Site, right? They work on to maintain and also to understand the site. So by that they have some investigations, and they already mapped out some obvious ancient monuments, some invisible monument which need excavation process, or living heritage, some site like that, and even like the water channel and everything. And it's obviously go beyond this little yellowish color over there. And my best guess is because of the management part, which complete the OUV, right? If they have a lot of things and they cannot control, it's not going to be a complete one. So yeah, we have beside the time frame of 6 months, beside the limited information that were given for the development project, we also have to also deal with this value and interpretation of the value. And the development of the area from the landscape team actually revealed that there is some development on the land, because it's a kingdom. It not happen in one day, like how Rome didn't build in one day, right? So from the swamp area, from the area that is a flat plain, some civilization, something happening in this area until it's covering the whole Iceland and the related area. the Vieng Lek and Patha Kucham area with it, and on the south, and then in the eastern side, it's believed that it might be even Ayutthaya, some city exists before Ayutthaya exists. So there is a lot of theory that still need a real proof, which is like the best that I can think of would be the archaeological process to prove that, hey, this exists, or something that need to be done before any development came in, before these evidence, values, and attribute that is not being found yet disappear. Another thing that is important is the relation of nature and culture on the place. The green area surrounding by these the city settlement area is the area where used to be the area of agriculture and the field. These act as a natural absorbance of the water in the flood area. So it used to be the floodplain, and it used to make this place even more valuable in terms of defense, natural defense from the attack from the enemy, and even more than that. So the natural components is quite critical, and critically need to be studied more in this area. So beyond World Heritage values, there is already another values that we found during the process of investigation. And this is the area where the trend gonna be, again, just to let you know, that it might be on something so important but not discovered yet. And this area of orange here is like an important temple and important monument. So for this case is not only what happened in Ayutthaya time, but also the development of the area also shown that the railway that exists since the King Rama V in Latanakosin era was built over there when the transformation of the infrastructure of Thailand come at its great time when the rail was bring about to Thailand for the first time, and it's come to this place as well. So the existing rail station itself also considered a valuable how do you say heritage of this place as well. So it means that we can, for personally, as someone who is a heritage practitioner, we cannot deny the development, but how can we make this into the context that doesn't really bring about the negative impact to the site and to the value that people cherish? Again, the comparison of the World Heritage boundary and the thing that is beyond the property. So the value interpretation, which is beyond the boundary, in some sense, the team may even need more World Heritage expert to advise on accurate interpretation of these values, and even the expert to revise these proposed thing that the state party already submitted long time ago again, and gather all information on point and come up with the updated set of information before the assessment even can begin. But therefore, however, in the light of management, Fine Art Department already from long time ago try to like expanding the territory to understand the value. So they dividing the area for the purpose of management, and it already proposed in the overall planning of the whole site. So it's expanding a little bit already by the area that indicate by different number. For example, the east side that covering Ayutthaya, or the southern that covering something that believed to be Patha Kucham or Vieng Lek, and also the field, the number 7, that is the absorbing water function of the nature world. So we already see that there is something that was done in the management level by the national authority, cultural national authority, but still in the time of 6 months and every pressure that I already mentioned, this is basically some mission impossible to complete with accuracy of data and with the sharp of decision on what impact is, and can foresee to see how can we mitigate these or come with alternative even that. So not official alternatives, I would say. So the first one is like, okay, we have this translation going on. We will focusing on this boundary that we have already over there, or we change the location. Some expert already and people in scholar in the public also mention a lot of option too. Like we can change the location of the main station, maybe to the B or to others, and maybe feeding with some smaller transportation like buses or maybe some other thing that wouldn't expand a lot of TOD into this side of island. And also another alternative would be, can they redesign the station to be smaller, or maybe a tunnel, maybe something that is not gonna interrupt with the visual integrity of the whole city and its settlement maybe, and more have been suggested, but this has not been finalized yet because the process of revision of the HIA is still ongoing. So now I want to mention a little bit about the social voices, no? When HIA comes, so normally as written in the book, I would say, we have to engage the local as fast as earliest as can be. But for this case, that the different station and Israel already built on the top, on the north and on the south already, what can we do, no? So social voices was heard during the process of HIA of 6 months, 2 times only, and local and people in Eritrea obviously need the train, as they really protest that, oh, we need the train, it can make us go home faster whatsoever. While the heritage practitioner, the World Heritage Community or scholar in Thailand already doubts that it will not be a good cause to trade with, and opposed with the idea that the station might need to shift to another location, or something need to happen with the design, which already confusing different by the news that I bring here, like different news come up with different designs showing how confusing the society is on this mysterious train station. So for the impact assessment, from what I can share is that it's cover main topic of physical attribute. They try to simulate, even like have all the 3D of Ayutthaya on the whole island to simulate the 3D on how visual would be disrupt with this train station, which is 21 or now they say 19-meter high. How is it disturbed with the pagodas, important monuments, and with that, it as a second thing. And the third thing that they do is they did some survey in the area that's the station gonna be located, and the related area around the station, to ask people on their social needs and also economy, which by all means is gonna support the building of the train for me, because at least, I mean, people would need that for economy purposes. But for the value-based assessment, is I still think that is really critically needed in this HIA. For the final outcome and the result, it is still an ongoing discussion and the revising, because this report that the team was made on the first, I think last year around that, they send it to World Heritage Center, and the replies is that this is not HIA, which is not so surprised, considering 6 months and all the pressure that they got. So one thing that I can think of right now is that the communication on World Heritage values to the public, suggested by the community voices, might not be there yet, because public perception on World Heritage of Ayutthaya is mainly on the ruins and archaeological site, and they really think that it's 1.5 away is already sufficient. And the nature culture linkage value and hydrological system, where is already mentioned in the OUV or in the statement of outstanding universal value, it might not that well known, that people might overlook or but might not be informed about, which is really need to be done by the state party, need to be encouraged more to be done. And for the challenges, you might already know from what I try. If this is a movie, it's come to an end where all the how do you say, how all the point or how all the conflict is concluded here. But it is not there is open end going in the end. I'm so sorry that I cannot narrate you to the end of this journey, but you can get updates really soon because now the revision is going on. And the challenge, I will sum up again, is that problematic. The TOR is quite challenging for the HIA team to finish what they were asked for in the limited of time. The clear information that wasn't given maybe need to be provided at the early stage. If you say that for the next HIA, if any, which gonna be more coming up for Thailand, I think the clear information needs to be prepared at the really early age, at the early stage, sorry. And another thing that the HIA team maybe needs to know the World Heritage terminology and its related matter to be able to execute these projects more efficiently, value-based approach which may need, because without that, the impact assessment work that they did, it might not be convincing, which is not. And expert, even it's already multidisciplinary, maybe it need to consider based on the value of the site again, that maybe you guys may meet people there may need like ecologists maybe, or hydrology, traditional hydrology expert, or maybe World Heritage expert at the early stage. And that is really critical one as well. And the pressure from the working team that have from the project developer, which also the HIA commissioner is really challenging in the sense. And understanding of people that what HIA is already one of the obstacles. They miscommunicate, and sometimes they think that is how it is different from EIA. So that is already another challenge. And public acknowledgement is the last thing that I would like to underline, because the value of heritage site, of a World Heritage site, and of any heritage site, if it's not communicated well, we will never get efficient support from local. We will not get the clear how you call like social consensus, because people believe in different things. And in national level, if I can summarize something, it would be that our country also need HIA in more solid way, meaning we have to establish some mechanism that need to plan ahead for integrating of this HIA into the process, which is more official than just a review by some committee. It might be a committee, but maybe the mechanism needs to be established, because with the mandate of Fine Art Department itself, it really is a really heavy one, because it's covering the whole country. And with the manpower, it come to the other way when they I really feel like they try their best, but they also need to maybe get support, or maybe building up some mechanism that can include this into our national legislation, not only for the thing on the list, but also for the another heritage of not which is not in the inventory. Yeah, and also the integration of the nature culture and also ICH into this HIA, because it's heritage, no? It's not just cultural heritage impact assessment, so it's heritage. So how and how can we get like the voices of people who is from the nature and culture side with this mechanism? If it's by our department, how can they get the nature people coming in to tackle this, and even ICH coming into the equation? And the information need to be transparent enough that locals can also review afterward, because the whole process only 2 times, like this example wouldn't be enough. How can we integrate people from the early stage, and what mechanism can be done is something that personally I think we should review and think about before we moving on and make it solid, and it create more problem afterward. So I would end my presentation here, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Supicha. All right, I think that, this is ending on a train. We rushed through this. I think that, we would really love to have had more time. I think there were quite a few questions in the chat box, but they were also all answered. A lot of them were answered in them. I think that if anybody else has further questions, put them through or send them through in this link, which the Secretariat here is just about to put up. a feedback form, and then we will try and get them answered. I am very, very conscious of the fact that we're supposed to end at 4. And I know that 4 p.m. Malaysian time, and I know that some of you will definitely need to go. So I'm going to beg your indulgence to have, let's say, another, a maximum of 10 minutes for us to just conclude. But I suppose as moderator, I will take the platform and essentially say that I think that for all, although we've looked at it really from the perspective, or we were trying to look at it from the perspective of World Heritage Sites, all the presentations were looking really at the concept of where does heritage sit and what are the values and attributes of heritage, whether at the local level, whether at the national level, or whether at the international level. So why is a place important? That's what Eugene was talking about. And what are the things that need to, be put into place and to be protected in order to maintain these values, the place's values. And how do you do that? I think that one of the things that everyone talked about was really about having a team, a multidisciplinary team, having the time. Lots of people, in terms of the presentations, we're talking about, the time pressure also, where development proposals may not be at the same pace, may not go at the same pace, or may go ahead of impact assessments. Access to accurate information and to current information, I think that was also highlighted. But what was important also was, the legislative framework for each of these country studies that were presented. Where, at what point are the legislative frameworks already currently in place, or what, which country has it further ahead than others? And I think that in the framework, in the guideline, the impact assessment on within the World Heritage context, I think it's important to say that it can be translated at all levels. It doesn't only apply to the heritage, the World Heritage sites. So that really is trying to understand the obligation of not just the state party, but the agencies responsible for heritage in each country, as well as what was equally important and seen was the social and the community contribution to this. And really, it's looking at trying to balance this. So a lot of discussion was also on the follow-through. So you have a project, you have a proposal. It doesn't stop with the impact assessment. It has to be followed through. I thought one of the things that was interesting to me was this idea of it. I work with biodiversity projects and things like that, and there's always this concept of offset, and how Eugene stressed that offset doesn't work when we are talking about heritage. So you can't offset something by finding your values elsewhere, placing them elsewhere. So I think that that's really very important to stress. I'm going to ask each speaker to just give one takeaway from this, and I will start with Supita and end with Eugene in the opposite order from the way we have spoken. So I would like, first of all, before we end, to just remind you that there is a feedback form. There is a feedback form which is shared in the chat. So we'd really appreciate your completing and filling this out. And I will start with Supita. If you just want to give your one takeaway from listening to all these, please, floor is yours.
Okay.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Oh my God, clock is ticking. My takeaway would be that for my country, I would think that we need HIA by all means, and in national level, and also for the implementation not beyond World Heritage, but also for the national level of the cultural heritage and also heritage site in general. And I think more education and all more capacity building need to be done in order to create more understanding on this process. Why is it important? Why do we need this? And what can we save having it? It need to be done. And also with that, to underline, as I work as senior SPAFA, we have our heritage impact assessment and impact assessment course coming up. Might be announcing very soon. So I also hope to learn with everyone, because I have to admit it's new in my country and it might be new somewhere as well. So please maybe stay tuned in SPAFA page. And also, if you need more bigger context than that, contact UG.
I think that's an excellent point. So do follow Simeo Spafa for that, as well as ICROM, yeah, who also do a lot of training courses. Ishak, can I invite you?
Okay. Thank you, Liz. I think the main thing that we need is to have a clear legal framework, within the country on enforcing HIA, and then we need to have a clear guidelines, regulation, and provided by the authority in charge of HIA and approving the HIA reports. So those things are very important, because currently our experience is like we are jumping into HIA and then suddenly we realize that one is the guideline is not clear, and the process of reviewing and how long it takes to review the report and how we go about approving and what happens next. All these things are not clear, so everybody is like groping in the dark and just manage things. That's it.
So the lesson here is look at what ICROM has produced in terms of the heritage guidelines, and it might be the impact assessment guidelines, which would hopefully help Malaysia. And we're talking from Malaysia. Okay, can I invite Punto?
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. So I believe that heritage impact assessment or impact assessment is indeed necessary and can be implemented. Yeah. After all these years, I don't want us to only focus on the obstacles, but also on the opportunities. And I think it's important to have discussion like this regularly. So sharing best practice, lesson learned, and let's build a network for those involved in heritage impact assessment. So Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, we can learn from each other. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I think that's an excellent. Wait, Eugene, I saw you nod. So
yes. Thank you. No, I totally agree. I think we also need to be very honest about what kind of positive impacts can be, and if we are confident with the process. And of course, we cannot predict 100% of all the possible positive or negative impacts, but the methodology is actually a way to reduce that margin of error as much as possible. So the more practice that we can get with the application of the methodology, I think the better we can develop the sector as a whole. And in order to do that, we do need to share much, much more in between us. I think the transparency of impact assessments, especially for heritage, has still a long way to go, because it wasn't a legal process. A lot of these reports are in the gray area where it's not possible for us to share very freely. So making it available transparently to the sector as a whole so that we can develop all together is really important. And to be able to actually talk to the developers in advance, I think, is one of the key aspects. One of the key things that we learned from working with the International Association for Impact Assessments was that they don't know who to talk to when they hit heritage. So the developers kept on saying that they don't want to harm heritage, but they just don't know who it is or what it is that they would need to do in order to protect effectively. So I think making sure that we have those communication channels open and being able to discuss this in a transparent manner would be very, very helpful to the entire sector as a whole. But thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Before I invite our Deputy President, Zul Helmi, to conclude this session, I'm just going to ask Suhardi to say maybe again, 1 or 2 words, since you were the one, you are part of the organizing committee and chairing this particular HIA webinar.
Yeah, hi, Liz, thank you. And thank you everybody for your dedicated time and attention to this very important subject in our field. And I'm enjoying this session, and I hope all of you do too. And thank you, of course, to our host, ICOMOS Malaysia, for such incredibly well-organized webinar. And this would be, this session would be very well, would be an important source of reference for us when we have our colleagues from other sub-regions in Asia Pacific organize the edition in the forthcoming months. So for your information, the forthcoming one would be our friends from Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific, and they are coordinating with us. And last remarks that this is, as the edition shows, that this is Southeast Asia, but actually we never meant this is only limited for fellows from Southeast Asia, and it should be a learning platform, sharing platform for all of us from Asia Pacific. So I'm very pleased to see many colleagues from outside the Southeast Asia region also present. And hopefully we will see you all again. And please disseminate this information, as for example, we have 500 capacity, right, Liz? And
Yes.
so far I just noticed that's only below maximum 120 perhaps. Just now I saw, so hopefully to see you all again, and please distribute the information to your fellow ICOMOS members in your national committee. And non-ICOMOS members are also welcome, I think, because this is a very important learning experience for all of us. Thank you, Liz, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene.
Zul,
Thank
I'm
you so
just
much.
going to yes, thank you, Eugene, for calling in all the way from Rome. And thank you very much to all the other presenters. I'm just going to ask Zul, you're online now. Over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the sharing. On behalf of ICOMOS Malaysia, I want to thank all our 4 speakers, Eugene Jo, Untu Wijayanto, Town Planner Ishak Arifin, and Supicha Sutana Kaur from Thailand, for your excellent sharing of knowledge and also experience. And also want to thank Liz and also Suhardi for an excellent moderation session. I look forward to further programs which ICOMOS Malaysia will be hosting. From what I understand, there are 4 more series coming up. So thank you everyone for spending your afternoon with us. Yep. Hope to see you again
stay
next
online
time.
because we want you to turn on your cameras and we just want to take
Oh, yes.
a group photo. So just try and stay, just give us 1 last minute. Thank you, everyone. Turn on your cameras and then, Intan, I think we're ready.
Yes. Okay, turn on your camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hang on. Next page. Because we have more than 100 people. Okay, smile. Okay. Okay. Oh, we have 3 pages actually. Hang on, yeah. I'm coming to the 3 page. Smile. 3 page. Okay, and the last page. Wow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, again, and we will let you know at the next webinar, which will be in mid-December. And for everyone else, can you just, everyone who's still here, if you haven't already filled in the feedback form, please do so and then send it back to us. Thank you all and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Liz.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Moderator. Thank you all.
Pak
Yes,
Isa,
bye.
Thank you,
Suara
Punto.
dan
Thank
Terima
you,
kasih
everyone.
semua.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
My cucu's
Okay.
birthday
Yeah.
party.
Oh. Okay.
My nephew's daughter.
I'm leaving your meeting.